This week in South Baltimore.
Sobo, hun.
Brought to you by southbmore.com. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to This Week in South Baltimore. Brought to you by southbmore.com. I've got Kevin Lynch here. I'm Nate Carper. We've got an awesome interview today with a few folks from Key Real Estate Group, the Key Group, right? They're going to talk to us all about just the market, here in South Baltimore and around the city, and this hot housing market right now. And Kevin did an awesome interview with them. But hopefully everybody's feeling good out there, feeling awesome, feeling vaccinated, getting out and about more. Kev, how you been doing, man? What's been going on in your world?
Not too bad, doing good. Enjoying with baseball back, and summer activities look like we'll have a fun summer with some of the events that we grew to love are starting to come back. So yeah, I'm really excited. I'm a big summer guy, so I'm very excited. It seems like it'll be almost a normal summer, so I'm very, very pumped up. Yeah,
same here. I'm excited too for not just the weather, but it's the only negative that we have going on right now, I think, is the cicadas. It's like raining cicadas everywhere you go. If you're walking through Riverside Park, it's just cicada central. I don't know if you guys have that down where you live or not, but
Oh yeah, it's definitely made the boys want to go to the park a lot more. They love those cicadas.
Right. Well, folks, we got this great interview coming up here in just a sec. But first, I want to give a plug, not just for southbmore.com and Kevin Lynch's awesome business that keeps us all informed around the neighborhood, but I had the good opportunity, the fortunate opportunity, I should say, to go to Kevin's house with the family recently, thanks to being vaccinated. And Kev made us some fantastic pizzas in his various pizza ovens and all kinds of tools and tricks that he had. And I knew he took pizza seriously, but wow, it was quite the display in the show. So if Kevin ever invites you or your family over for pizza, you definitely want to take him up on that. Kev, you got anything going on your YouTube pizza channel?
Yeah, definitely. Pizza channel on YouTube. I've kind of started that YouTube channel during the pandemic. I've always been loved making pizza at home. Kind of started with got some fresh dough from Trinacria, and really the obsession kind of started after that. But yeah, we're cranking out some new videos. I have a new video about making Neapolitan style dough. I know there's a lot of people starting to get ovens like the Uni or a rock box, or some people have wood-fired ovens. So I just made a cool video about how to make dough so that your pizzas can look somewhat like Hirsch's, which is Neapolitan style pizza, which is really good. So yeah, I love making pizza at home. And if you want to learn more about making pizza yourself, definitely head to the pizza channel on YouTube, and hopefully all of you will come by my alley or house or some event I'm making pizza at sometime and get a slice yourself.
Right on. You name dropped about 5 different pizza places there in the neighborhood, so that's awesome. Good plug for those folks too. So we got to support all our local businesses here in South Baltimore. So Kev, why don't you tell us a little more about this interview with Key?
Yeah, so I think everybody that's been living anywhere or paying attention to the news or have friends that are in the real estate market know it's been a really hot real estate market. It's certainly been a big challenge for people looking to buy homes. For sellers, it's almost really great because you're getting good value for home, but it can almost be overwhelming with how much interest there is and getting the deals done. So really wanted to bring in some people that are in this market every day, working with buyers, working with sellers, seeing the trends, seeing what parts of the neighborhood are hot, seeing what type of aspects people are looking for in their homes. So we brought in the key group of Cummings and Co. Realty, Jody, Buck, Jim Gunsiorowski. They really have a lot of great information. And it was a really awesome interview because I think there's a lot of factors we think of ourselves that are leading to this hot market, but they really gave us some really good nuts and bolts detail to what's driving this market.
Well, cool. Let's do it. Let's go on a journey through some real estate here in Baltimore.
All right, we are joined by Jim Gunsiorowski and Jody Buck of the Key Group of Cummings and Co. Realtors. Hey guys, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Hey Kevin, nice to be here.
No problem. Well, I'm sure if anybody's paying attention to the news and real estate lately, you've heard it's a pretty hot market out there, not only in South Baltimore, but really a lot of different places around the Baltimore metro area and around the country. So we wanted to bring in some realtors to learn about what's going on in this market and see what it's like out there. So guys, just tell us, you guys are out there working with buyers, working with sellers in South Baltimore. What's the market like right now?
So the last few months, if you had told us when the pandemic started that, homes would be selling as quick as they are and at the prices that they are, we would have probably never believed it. And, over probably the last 8 months, we have definitely seen, the market shift, and it's been, stronger than it ever has been in a very long time. And, there's multiple factors that are sort of driving that market.
Yeah, this market's been pretty intense for sellers as well as for buyers. And it's a great thing. And we're happy that there's so much interest. And I know a lot of people have different needs right now. And those needs are coming forward and pushing the market pretty heavily right now.
Gotcha. What do you think some of those factors are that have led to this hot market right now?
Sure. Yeah. The market's been so busy for so many different reasons. The easiest one to go to has been the shortage of inventory. I mean, that's a national thing for sure. It has been a local thing for us as well. Initially when the pandemic opened up and people's eyes were changed, our minds, our lives were changed. And quite frankly, you started looking around at your house, especially if you've been staring at the walls for a few weeks, and you start going, is this really where I want to be? And those life changes, whether it be working from home, schooling from home, or just simply knowing that you have good neighbors next to you and how important they are for your mental and social being, has really changed this market. That's number one for sure. Number two, when we go past that, we get into the inventory aspect of it. We start thinking about how people didn't or couldn't feel comfortable having people come into their home. So they weren't really eager to put their house on the market. So the homes that were on the market were vacant homes typically. Those homes were the easiest ones to show. And they were scooped up pretty quickly by buyers because those buyers came to the market quicker than the sellers. The sellers, it took a long time to feel comfortable with having people in the door, what protocols would be in place, and quite frankly, where do I go if I have a showing on my house? I can't just go down to Cova Cafe and have a cup of coffee and work there for the day. Or where do I send my kids when they're schooling downstairs at the kitchen table? We can't just work from our cars. So that really put a big pause into the market in terms of the inventory. It's increasing over time right now, but realistically, that was a big driver when you have supply and demand issues.
And again, and as Jim said, being a seller was, it was definitely fantastic. We had a lot more buyers. They were fighting over the same few houses. And, we saw that also sort of drive those prices up, which, caused essentially about a 10 to 15% increase in sales. That was a huge amount, and we don't normally see that big of a jump, within an 8-month time span, but that definitely drove it as well.
Yeah, that all really makes a lot of sense. I certainly thought about the factor of people being uncomfortable having other people come to their homes during this pandemic, but that's such a good point about like where do you go during a showing. That really makes a lot of sense. So obviously, if you look at the prices homes are going for in South Baltimore, these are maybe the highest prices we've ever seen, or at least up there with some of the highest prices ever. So obviously, there's a lot of buyers in this market right now. Where are a lot of these buyers coming from? Are they typically people already in the neighborhood? Are they people from other parts of Baltimore? Are they people from around the country? What are you guys seeing?
Kevin, that's a great question. Buyers are in the marketplace, right? And they're coming from a lot of different areas as well. Many of them are local. Many of them have been sharing homes with other roommate situations, larger homes in the neighborhood. They may be coming from some of the apartment buildings. And again, those folks have learned, I can't work in my environment. I'm not going to an office. My roommate that I love going out to the bar with on Friday night might not be the best guy to sit in a living room or a bedroom with while I'm trying to work. So those have really kind of pushed people mentally to kind of get out of their space. And the same thing for the folks that have been in apartments. A lot of their resources have been shut down. The attractiveness of being in an apartment building, whether it be the common area spaces, the gym, the pool, whatever it may be. And you start going, all right, is this really where I want to be? And can I work, live, and do all this in a smaller space? And again, that drove a lot of it for sure. I think Jody would love to talk about all the DC buyers that we're seeing as well.
Yes, one of the things I've had is a huge influx of buyers coming from DC because they no longer have to be in DC. They can work remotely. And we're seeing people branch out from all over. We have people that have been living in the county that are now deciding to come to the city. And, it's really driven that market up because they're thrilled with Baltimore prices compared to the DC prices. And, they were willing to pay more for homes than, they saw the value of Baltimore homes versus DC. So we did see a large driving market from that. But again, back to Jim's point, of the roommate situations, we've had a huge amount of first-time home buyers. they're starting to get their feet wet. They want to, jump into that, home buying pool. And one of the things that I think was driving that factor was they weren't going out. They weren't able to go out. They weren't able to, go to dinner or go to the bars or eat out as much. And we noticed people that were they were saving a lot of money, and they were able to take that money and utilize it for those down payments. And that was one of the driving factors that I've seen with the first time homebuyer market. And many of them have told us they saved more money in the last 8 months than they have before. And that was one of the main reasons.
Yeah, for sure. We're definitely seeing people have a little bit of YOLO too. I'm going to say that. I know I shouldn't be saying that at my age, but I will go with it because they are seeing friends buy houses in the last 6 to 12 months and go, wow, you're already up 10% on your house. I hate to look at it in a crazy investment point of view, but there are some folks going, well, if I don't buy now, I don't know when I'll be able to buy.
Gotcha. Good term there, Jim. And certainly you look at that factor. I mean, so many people have had to cancel cruises and vacations and different outings. And obviously it's led to boosts in the boat sales market and the car sales market. Bikes are hard to get now, baby pools and stuff. So certainly you're seeing people with kind of a lot of, as you said, this extra money that they're not spending at restaurants. They're not spending on vacations right now. So it's good to see that that's also been a factor in improving the market. Obviously, South Baltimore has a lot of different types of housing stock. Any types of houses or parts of the community that are kind of extra in demand right now?
Yes, we're seeing a huge drive in the Riverside Park neighborhood. Again, having that park right there, the flexibility of being able to get to multiple shopping centers, the walkability aspect of it. It is some dead end streets. So again, the traffic over there, only people driving into that neighborhood in and out are typically people that are living there. So it's become very ideal for many buyers. And we have seen a huge increase in people fighting over houses in that area.
Yeah, Locust Point is also very hot, as you can imagine. It's a very small neighborhood. It's very limited in terms of the inventory that's available there. And quite frankly, people do feel very comfortable there. It's not as busy as the middle of Federal Hill or some of the other neighborhoods in the city. It's more residential, and that is attractive for many folks.
Sure. With some of these hot types of houses, hot areas, I know firsthand, I know some friends who have gotten deals off market right now. And obviously Cummings and company has an awesome presence in South Baltimore. So I'm sure you guys are chatting with each other about homes that are going to come on the market. And I know you guys get a lot of deals done before. So just tell me about some of the gamesmanship that's out there a little bit right now. Like, have you guys been doing a decent amount of deals before a house even hits the market?
It's a great question. Yes, there have been conversations between agents because we're all on the hunt, whether it be representing sellers looking for that buyer, looking for that seller who's on the move. Any advantage you can get to try and get someone in the door is huge. There are definitely some rules we have to follow. Our commissions and our MLS boards have really kind of restricted how exclusive advertising can be. So a lot of it is word of mouth in terms of doing business with other local agents, brokers in the area. And having that open line of communication has been very beneficial to kind of not only helping agents sell houses quicker, but realistically, it's all about the consumer. The consumer is finding a house. They feel excited to be getting something in advance of potentially the broader market. And same thing, quite frankly, I just had a seller recently sell their house, and they were nervous that they were going to not be able to show the home while they were there because they were working from home. They had a pet. They were on meetings all day long. And they go, we don't have time to prepare our house properly. We don't have time to have the painter come in. We don't have time to do certain things that you'd want to get your top dollar. And having the ability to bring in 4 buyers before they went on the market, before they're prepared, and say, hey guys, I know we're not out there. I know we're not 100%. What do you think about this house? Would you be interested? And that did bring a buyer. So that buyer is excited because they're getting a house before general marketplace, but also that was excited. Wow, I'm limiting the amount of time on market. I'm still getting people looking at the house. I've saved money on staging, painting, and other things. So it's a win-win for all parties. So having those communication lines with other realtors who are out there every day like us is very, very critical.
Gotcha. Very cool. I'm sure this is a nice reality compared to what things might have been a year and a half ago to see such a hot market. But I'm sure it provide some challenges for you guys as well, as you guys have mentioned. Now, obviously, with this pandemic, I think we've all kind of reevaluated our living situation a little bit. As you mentioned, we're in the house a lot. So, are you seeing people who are kind of just sticking around, but they need a bigger house because now they're working from home? Maybe they just realize if we're going to be spending more time at home, we need a bigger house. And also, too, have outdoor spaces become kind of more of a hot commodity right now, just with this, extended time at home?
Yes, absolutely. As you mentioned, the outdoor spaces seems to be one of the big factors that we're finding with the first-time home buyers. If they're coming from a rental property that doesn't necessarily have a balcony or their own personal outdoor space, I am seeing that being a driving factor. They would love a back patio. They would love a rooftop deck. They want to be able to get out and feel that, they have that extra space to expand. Especially location wise, being close to some of the parks, people this over the pandemic have really started utilizing those outdoor spaces just in the community more. So some of it is location, which I think goes back to sort of the driving factor of that Riverside Park location, the Locust Point. You have Latrobe Park right there. So that is, again, I think, a driving factor as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, space is always critical when we were dealing with row homes, right? We've got limited space in general. I kind of talk to people, I go, it's like living on a boat. You got to have a place for everything and you don't have an abundance. So realistically, that's always been a driving factor, but it became, top of mind very quickly for folks because it was such a reality check for them over the last year and a half. And yes, we're definitely seeing folks who are not ready for the suburbs and they want to upgrade here in the city, whether it's here to Locust Point or maybe it's up to Homeland or Roland Park where they do get a backyard. They're still staying in the city for the most part, but at the same time, the county, as attractive as it may be for some folks, has been even more aggressive in terms of the real estate market. So with that being said, there's some people that are skittish to go out to those markets and pay such a premium that they go, you know what, I'm not really done with city living. I really enjoy living here in Baltimore, and this is another option for me, whether it be upgrading to a newer construction home or a home that's maybe on Riverside that's a 3-story property with 3 to 4 bedrooms. Those things are all attractive to buyers.
Yeah, and I also think that we're seeing people coming in from other parts of the city. They want to be more near the parks. They want to be near where they can walk to restaurants and different things like that and go to the downtown harbor. And so we're seeing people coming from, north areas of Baltimore and moving their way down here because, again, working from home, they have that flexibility where they don't need to be north of the city or, west of the city. They can sort of spread themselves out a little bit more now.
Very cool. And obviously, you mentioned a little bit, but I guess talk a little bit about those suburban markets right now. I've heard there's certainly quite a few bidding wars going on in some of the hotter suburbs around. So I know you guys do some deals out that way. So the suburban markets, are they? It sounds like they're just as challenging right now, if not more.
They are. The suburban markets are very similar to the city market. But one of the factors that we have out there is, again, the inventory is not increasing in the counties as much as it is increasing in the city. So we are starting to see a little bit of a shift in the city that we'll talk about in a little bit. But in the counties, there is still very, very few houses available, and everyone is fighting over the same ones. Most homes are having 60 plus showings in one weekend, and they're getting 19 to 20 offers. It is intense. So again, having an agent that can go ahead and navigate that for you. And sometimes it's not always about price. Sometimes it's about those other factors. It's about your home inspections. It's about your appraisal. So there's many other ways that we can help support our clients in those multiple offer situations that doesn't necessarily have to be price related.
Kevin, we've got a bit of a logjam in the suburban market. And here's the real tip that I don't think a lot of people are thinking about. We've got first-time home buyers here in the city, and we've got end users in the county, folks that have lived in their homes 30, 40 years, they've raised their families, they're ready to retire, they're ready to go to the senior community centers for their lifestyle. And over the last year with the pandemic, their families basically have told them, Mom, Dad, I really don't want you to go into a nursing home. I don't want you. Can you move with me? Can we keep keeping your home some way, somehow? So those homes that would have come onto the market for people that are upgrading out to a suburban house in maybe a prime area in Ellicott City or Severna Park or whatever the case may be, they're not selling. So that's even creating scarcity of houses out there. And again, with the amount of first-time home buyers who are trying to take advantage of rates, jump into this market, and having that blockage at the end, we're not getting the proper flow of transitioning people from house to house.
Yeah, and from city to county, it goes hand in hand because a lot of the buyers that, for instance, may be selling their house in the city and looking to move to the county, they need to be potentially contingent on their home selling. So the city and the county are very dependent on each other in terms of if one is not doing well, then the other is not going to do well. It's going to be much harder for instance, that buyer, if they need to sell their home in the city and move to the county, they have to be able to do that quickly. And they need to get as much money out of that house as possible to put down on the next.
It certainly seems if you follow the market that a hot area can lead to another area becoming hot right next to it. Obviously, we've seen kind of Carroll County boost up because of how hot Howard County is. And I guess every town around Smyrna Park probably gets hot because Smyrna Park's so hot. And obviously, from what you're saying, sounds like the hot county market has led to a hotter city market in many ways. So that really makes me think, you see the nice momentum in Federal Hill and Locust Point and the South Baltimore Peninsula. Has that led to an increased momentum in places like Pigtown and Hollands Market and Union Square, places that have been kind of up and coming for many years, but have struggled to kind of get the momentum that areas on the South Baltimore Peninsula have? Have those markets seen a boost at all?
Kevin, I would say, there's activity there for sure. And we've seen a lot of positive things going on in those neighborhoods, as we have over the years. They ride the wave just like anybody else with the real estate market. The more money that can come into larger projects like Hollands Market or simply on the main street in Washington Village, that's only going to help those markets. It's definitely been more of a rental-based market on many levels, and we're definitely seeing people go into those markets based on being priced out of neighborhoods like Riverside or Federal Hill or Otterbein, something along those lines, or even Ridgely's. So yeah, for affordability factors, people who want to buy, there are opportunities there for you. And we are seeing landlords that are releasing their properties. They're selling them off. They're trying to cash in on this market as well. I would not say it's as hot as some of these other areas for sure, but I would say it is an opportunity for many people to get into the city, get into a comparable row home that's in great condition. Those are some great markets to look into.
As far as the city markets, is it kind of your typical hot spots? Is it South Baltimore? Is it Canton? Is it Fells Point? Is it Hamden? Are those kind of the areas you guys are seeing the most activity now? Is there anything we're not thinking about that's hot in your guys' vision?
Yeah, Hamden has increased, I think, dramatically in terms of the number of buyers because, again, they have that flexibility to not have to be right downtown. So Hamden has definitely picked up, I think, as well as Charles Village.
Yeah, those two areas for sure, the Remington, Charles Village, Hamden corridor, kind of right in that area around Hopkins, has done very, very well. There's definitely a scene there. There's a great restaurants, shops, all those things that are very, very attractive. It's been a little bit harder for some buyers. They really like those neighborhoods, but they always felt it was a hard commute outside the city, whether you were going up to Timonium, you're going to Hunt Valley, you're going downtown or south to Anne Arundel County somewhere. You'd love to live there, but realistically, you got to get through the city before you even get to some of these highways that you're getting to. So it's kind of held it back a little bit. Again, going back to the work from home scenario, it's opened doors for people in Hamden and they're flocking there for sure.
Awesome. And certainly it's nice when you have neighborhoods, which are next to neighborhoods, which are next to neighborhoods where the flow of activity can continue to grow, as opposed to South Baltimore. We're kind of landlocked here where, we're on a peninsula on the water, and sometimes our momentum doesn't always transfer to other areas, but it sounds like it certainly does a little bit. Now with this hot market, are you guys hopeful there could be some new stability in the market? Obviously, I think the market's had its challenges. Maybe if you look back a couple of years ago with too much inventory and maybe prices not where probably a lot of your sellers wanted them to be. Do you guys feel like there could be some stability in the market, or are there any worries this could be a bubble?
Locally, I think we're in good position right now. There's no doubt about it. I think people want to be here. We're seeing large investments coming into the area. We have a lot of people talking about Port Covington. They think that is a big positive. So whether they're buying their house and they know they're going to be here for 5 to 7 years, they're thinking about the long-term value that a large development like that will bring to the area. So that is definitely coming into the mix. The bubble that we all talk about in the early 2000s was brought on by a lot of different factors, for sure. Financing was definitely one of those items. And I will tell you, when I talk to clients and they tell me what they have to do to get their loan, they're frustrated. They can't believe how much documentation, how many things they have to provide to the lender. And I think that is really where we're going to have some stability with the market on that front. Prices go up and down. It's a market. I get that for sure. But I'm not seeing that major drop off. Dips occur at all different times in the year. We see that at hotter times of spring, late fall are busy markets for us. July and August are not particularly great. A lot of people are on vacations. They're not wanting to deal with the 100-degree heat looking at houses. It's not an ideal maybe time to move. So we're going to see little variations throughout the year, and things are looking very positive right now.
Well, sounds like some mistakes were made in the early 2000s that people don't want to make again. So it's good to see that the whole industry has learned from that in many ways.
I definitely agree. And I also think, though, that inventory we are seeing is up. 2 months ago, we had about 70 homes in the South Baltimore area. That was it. And that's a really, really low number for us. We're back up to about 160 now. And, that usually is about the range that we're in for homes that are available for sale in all different prices. But we're happy to see that inventory increase a little bit, because some of these buyers that have been being outbid on properties now will be able to get a chance to possibly, become a home buyer.
We definitely have seen some of our buyers take a break from searching because they're just frustrated. They've been searching, they've been bidding, they're putting out excellent bids, and they're still not being selected. And they're having a tough time with it. It's an emotional roller coaster for many of them, and we try our best to guide them to that. But you just don't know. That last buyer who is getting that house, they might have been outbid on the other one, and it's a little bit of a rebound time. So you do have to be a bit cautious on how you bid. It's not a game. It's an important decision that will make a big impact on you and your family over the next 5, 10, 15 years, for sure.
I definitely agree with Jim, though. And I do see that with everyone being vaccinated now, people are opening them up more. They're going on vacations. And I do think that is going to slow the market down a little bit and cause a bit of a shift potentially in July and August. But we usually see those ebb and flows. And then we see things pick right back up again in kind of September, October. People want to be back in again into a home and purchasing prior to the holidays. So I think that we will see a little bit of ebb and flow come over the next maybe 2 or 3 months, but I don't think we're going to see any drastic price reductions or, that big bubble bursting that you talk about.
This was so much great information. I think anybody that's been paying attention knows it's been a crazy real estate market out there. And probably a lot of us were wondering what were the factors, what's hot, what's not. And this was really such great information. So thanks so much for joining us. And certainly any buyers, any sellers out there, the Key Group is an awesome part of this community. And I know they work on a lot of deals, and they know the area really well. So definitely hit them up, the Key Group at Cummings & Co. Realty. And thanks so much for joining us, guys. This was awesome.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity.
This week in South Baltimore.
So Boheim.
Brought to you by SouthBmore.com.